Hi guys, I don't know which is more stupid. The fact that Kwasi Kwarteng agrees to be interviewed following the disaster he and Liz Truss inflicted upon the UK economically, or the fact that he's invited on to BBC shows to give political or economic advice. Many analogies have been made, but former advisor and broadcaster Anisha Hazarika's is probably the most apt. She compared taking advice from the former Chancellor on economic issues to listening to senior citizen serial killer Harold Shipman on social care. Pretty crass, but perfect. Have a listen.
I may have to. Let me let Aisha in. She's been desperate to come.
I do find this extraordinary. I do admire your chutzpah, Kwasi. It is, getting lectures on the economy from you guys, particularly you and, of course, Liz Truss. It's like getting advice on social care from Harold Shipman. It really feels completely...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You've got to admit, you guys...
Harold Shipman, the metaphor... I get the point you're making, but I think the metaphor...
economy.
I think the metaphor is slightly
hundreds of pounds
inappropriate.
on people's mortgages. You've probably cost your party the next general election. You gifted Labour the mantle of fiscal responsibility. In terms of austerity, money has gone up towards the end of your time because of COVID, but also money has had to go in because of austerity. So many services were hollowed out. You look at what's happened with the police. We have got such an issue now, and a lot of that is because David Cameron said, I'm turning people back to their departments until they come back with more cuts. And all of those cuts to policing, we're really, really paying a price for.
All right.
In terms of Labour's point, look...
Well, let me let Kwasi come back, and
Yeah,
I'll come back
okay,
to you on
fine.
Labour's point. But Kwasi, do you want to respond to what you've just heard from...
Yeah, I didn't think the Harold Shipman metaphor
No, I
was
get that, but
inappropriate.
more broadly.
I think in terms of the interest rates, that was clearly something which is determined by the Bank of England's interest rate policy. That's something that was gone up. I think it was 0.1% 2 years ago. The base
Sorry,
rate...
are you saying that your mini budget had nothing
No,
to
I'm
do
not
with
saying it
people's
didn't, but I'm just saying
mortgages
that
getting pulled
today,
and going up?
Today, if you're paying on a tracker mortgage, it's obviously based on the Bank of England, and interest rates were going up across the world.
But are you not
in terms of
taking
the central
any
bank.
responsibility?
I'm taking some responsibility.
Would you apologise to people?
I've apologised on Piers Morgan. I've apologised so many different times. I've said we went too fast. I think we went too fast. I think you've got to have a measure of spending restraint.
His response is, we went too fast. That's a bit like Harold Shipman saying, I should have slowed down a bit. When I reached 100, I should have went, no, that's enough. Call it a day, Harold. You've done enough. Once again, the problem is not that you went too fast. It's you went there in the first place. Now, my bigger question is, why the heck is Kwasi Kwarteng being interviewed? Does he have no shame? Once again, he will be interviewed because he's a narcissist, I believe. He wants to be interviewed. I don't know, he wants to boost his image in some way. But the BBC are giving him a platform. Why the hell are they giving him a platform? Honestly, what does he add? He's like an arsonist turning up at an event to plant trees or something like that. And he's been asked, where should we plant the trees, Kwasi? It's ridiculous. But we see it time and time again. We have these right-wing think tank advisors being brought on to give their advice on why the NHS needs to be sold off. We have Richard Tice brought on to talk about immigration and about how to stop the boats. It's ridiculous. I don't understand why the BBC are giving these people a platform. I understand to a certain extent there needs to be some sort of balance. But why not actually bring people on who know what they're talking about? Instead of people like this. Kwasi Kwarteng is responsible for people in a very difficult situation at the moment. His mini budget crashed the economy. Jeremy Hunt had to be brought in to fix this. Rishi Sunak had to be brought in to replace Liz Truss. And now he's been brought on to the BBC to talk about economic issues, to give advice. It's beyond ridiculous. It's a joke. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.